All right. Well, hello, I'm Dave Shipper, and today I'm talking to John Lewis, our ninth finalist in the singer songwriter contest. John, you just impressed the heck out of the committee. You just kept coming with more and more songs. I looked at your site. You're either in Minneapolis or Tennessee. Where are you, John?
I am in Minneapolis.
You are. Okay.
Yep.
How's
There
it?
is there is another John Lewis in Tennessee, and he used to go by. I think he had a different last name, and John Lewis was like part of his name. But
Um,
yeah, there's some guy that is kind of more of an indie rock guy who
oh,
I get confused with now and again.
so you've never been in Nashville?
I have been to Nashville. Yeah, yeah. I haven't lived there, but uh, I've got a lot of friends there, and I've done some music stuff there. So
So how is the pandemic? How are you doing during the pandemic with your music career, or you have something to fall back on, or
you know, it's been tough. I think like it has for everyone. Uh, I have uh, other work that I do to pay the bills. But yeah, my I had a show. A number of shows that have been canceled. I was supposed to be playing one tonight with a friend actually from Nashville named Mary Bragg. She was going to be coming to town, and we were going to do a co-bill. But yeah, it's been tough. A lot of shows that aren't taking place, and tour plans and festival plans that have just fallen away.
yeah, we're in the same middle of it too. We're thinking of trying to find something to do on our weekend, just to kind of make it feel like it was the festival weekend, but still in process. So
Yeah.
let's get back to the songwriting. Carry Me Home. I wish I remembered. So sorry. After the funeral. Gone too far. Wow, all these great submissions. Were you surprised by the one we picked, or did you have a different favorite? Or
You know, I actually "Carry Me Home" has been one of my own personal favorites of my own songs for a
really
while.
cool?
And so I was excited actually that one was picked. I've got yeah, different songs seem to appeal to different audiences, and that one hasn't always risen to the top, but it kind of always felt like it should.
And it's got a great composition. I love the recording of it. Yeah, I felt a little bit not awkward, but it was the only one that really didn't have any emotion during the video that we picked so far. But
Ah, right.
that's okay. It's a songwriting contest. It's more about the song than it is the video. But the video was our conduit in this contest.
Exactly.
So you have a library of music. You just said that Carry Me Home is a favorite. Is it your only favorite? Have you thought about when you kind of like making a set list? Is this one's always in?
Oh, so of my own songs you're talking about, the
Yeah.
library of my own. Yeah. Um, you know, uh, there's probably like a half dozen that I feel like are always in right now, and "Carry Me Home" hasn't been one of them, but I feel like that is one that I should definitely get back on that always in the set list. I think "Gone Too Far," "Shut Down," uh, "So Sorry." Uh, there's one called "Ground." I don't think I submitted that one. It's and
So which one of those tugs at your heartstrings and says, I just love the way that one worked out.
it's really hard as the person who wrote the songs. Sometimes it's hard for me to say, oh, I really love this, but I feel like I feel like "Shut Down" has had the biggest like curb appeal and impact, and definitely there's some strong uh, soul, I guess, in that one. But I really do like Gone Too Far as well. I think probably if I had to pick one, I'd pick those two and say I can't pick.
And there's a reason why, because they kind of like give you remembrances, or just the fact that you like the way they turned out.
um, yeah, I think the crafting of the songs, and there's a few lines in each one of those that I'm particularly proud of and feel like those really nailed it. It's funny because both of those songs are currently only recorded on a live album that I did, and so I haven't recorded those in the studio yet, and I feel like I really need to do that, and they'll probably take on a whole different life once that happens.
That's true, and I feel so brash, but I figure I can ask you guys, because if I ever asked Dylan that, can you imagine the expression he would have on his face? Like, it's none of your business. um, okay, well, you've been in the songwriting contest before, so you take real care of your craft. So, what is your process? Are you a person that wakes up in the morning and says, "I got to write for 15 minutes just to write"? Are you part that you have to wait for an inspiration? Do you schedule time? What's your process like, John?
you know, uh, my process is not super consistent, but I've done a bit of each of those things. I think when I've been most productive, it's been when I've like had a goal to write at least one new song each week. And I say when I've had a goal to do that, it's not always worked, but there is something about just forcing myself to sit down at least once a week and write that I think does a number of things. Sometimes it helps like just to keep you in shape, kind of. I mean, it's songwriting is like a athletic competition or athletic event in some ways, where like if the inspiration comes and you're not in condition to put it down into a song, you won't do it. And so, uh, but I've also found I used to well, at different times I've spent more time on my bike than other times, and there's something about riding a bike that I don't know if it's the motion and the road or what, but there's often inspiration that comes to me from
It
the
could be.
wheels on the road, I
It
think.
could just be the silence. The fact that when I've dabbled
Yeah,
in some of my better songs is when I turn the radio off in a 30-minute commute.
yeah,
Because that silence gets your brain started. So,
yeah,
unfortunately,
absolutely.
how do you write your notes on a bike?
You
You
know,
have a good memory, I guess, huh?
well, I've got the memo app on my iPhone.
Oh,
I'll
you stop. You do that
dictate.
while you're riding, or
Yeah, yeah. Sometimes I'll pull over and but yeah, if I'm on my bike, I'll often have a lot of wind in the recording that I'm getting down.
well, more power to you, because I'll tell you, in the car, a phone do beat trying to scratch it off on a piece of paper on the pedal. Um, well, so who are your influences? You've been in acoustic music for a while. You influences obviously are old people, but they're all also probably peers of yours.
Yeah, I mean, you named one of my influences, definitely Bob Dylan. Great influence. And yeah, kind of some of the bigger star type of influences, I would say. Townes Van Zandt was a huge influence for me, and then Lucinda Williams, Patty Griffin is a huge influence. Uh, Christofferson and Willie Nelson, Johnny Cash, some of that
You
stuff.
tend to notice that you're writing like them, or do you study them and put it back into your songs, or just the fact that you listen to their song and say, "Oh, I wish I wrote a song like that."
Yeah, I mean, I think it's more like having listened to great songwriters like that and getting a feel for what it is that they do. It's probably seeped into my head and definitely just kind of at least subconsciously uh, influenced what I do. There are times, I mean, and actually, Gillian Welch is one where I feel like there's been a few times where I've been listening to Gillian Welch and then started writing, trying to write something that's like in the feel of a song that she did. And that actually worked out well for me a time or two. It's one of the techniques that I try now and again is like,
So do you find yourself before the pandemic, were you touring nationally constantly? Were you I know you were in the songwriting contest down at Kerrville, so you got down there. Um, uh, where, where,
yeah,
where's life taken you, John?
yeah. I have not. Yeah, I played in Texas last May, I guess it was, almost a year ago at the Kerrville
Mhm.
Folk Festival in their new folk um, contest, and that was amazing. I had planned to go back again this year. Whether I um, was in the contest again or not, I was just going to go because it's an amazing place. I don't know. Have you been to the Kerrville Folk Festival?
I've never been to the Kerrville one. I've been to Winnipeg. I
Okay.
hear it's Winnipeg stretched out kind of like as Kerrville, but Kerrville goes on for a while, doesn't it? It's like a
That's like
3 week.
a 3 week deal now. Yeah. I
That,
was hoping to get there for at least a week because one of the cool things there is, there's just tons of songwriters that go, even if they're not playing. And then there's campfires every night that go till about 4 in the morning, and people just go around to the different fires and trade songs. And I don't know if Winnipeg's like that as well. I haven't been to the Winnipeg Festival.
I haven't been up there for a while. I know bluegrass ones, bluegrass festivals tend to go on all night, but there's
Yeah.
a lot of drinking and jamming, and their jamming is a little bit different than songwriters. So
Yeah. Yeah. So, and then I used to go to a lot of the Folk Alliance conferences and play at those, and be a part of the things going on there. So, I think that was in Michigan the past couple of years, and had been in Iowa City before that. Had gone to the national one in Kansas City a few times, and had done some touring in the Midwest and did some touring in Texas as well, other than the Kerrville thing, and had planned to do more of that this year. That it's all gone to the wayside. So
somehow you found us. We're down in La Crosse.
yeah,
So have you been to La Crosse, and how did you find us?
I have been to La Crosse a little bit over the years. As a kid, we'd go down, did some hunting, duck hunting down
Oh,
in
good.
the in the area when I was much younger, and with my dad and my brother. Uh, I had a son who played hockey, and we'd go down to La Crosse for some tournaments and on Alaska and some of the other areas down there. Um, but yeah, I'd been hearing about your folk festival for a few years and had really been wanting to check it out. And that's what kind of drew me to it. I got to know John Smith a little bit at Kerrville, and I know I think he was one of your headliners last year down there.
He's
And
my neighbor. Of
is
course,
he? Yeah,
around here, 8 miles away from each other as neighbors, right?
I saw he was playing a show on his deck. I think
Yeah.
this weekend. So
Yeah, I live in Holman, and Holman is 8 miles away from Trempealeau, and John lives in Trempealeau, and
okay,
so you saw him on his deck overlooking the Mississippi River, and it's a beautiful beautiful little city over there, and Temple Hotel has good music as well as great food. So, um,
Yeah.
yeah, if you're a finalist and win, we'll definitely have you. But you're in the Twin Cities. Now we know each other.
Yeah.
There's no way in hell I'm not going to try to get you down to the folk festival next year. So one way or another, what we have at the folk festival is we've been doing it for 45 years. So we have daytime song swaps, and we have an evening concert on Saturday, evening concert on Friday. Well, those evening concerts are hard slots to fill in, but the daytime ones, we can get a multiple of people coming through, and and all of a sudden you're doing song swaps with everybody, and then
Yeah.
you get to meet the community as well as other artists. So it's kind of fun. So I'm looking forward to
Good.
getting back into the festival next year.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, Part of my journey as the fest chair has been the fact that out of the 45 years, I've probably only missed 4 years, but I've only been the fest chair the last 5. We used to travel over from Manitowoc, Wisconsin, just to go see the Folk Fest. Because
Nice.
within Wisconsin, it's one of the better festivals for acoustic music. So that brings me through my list of questions for you, John. Do you have any questions for us?
I'm just so honored to be a part of this, and I love what you all are doing. You has this online contest turned out to be
Well,
what you were hoping, or better, or
you know,
worse, or
yeah, that's a good question. I think we've had more participation than we anticipated. Um, we've had about as much traffic through the website that we're kind of hoping for, because doing something was better than doing nothing, and giving back to the artists. The tip jar has gotten close to what I was expecting. We knew the festival put in a little bit more than normal. We didn't charge any fees for song submissions. So, but we did want to generate something else for the finalists that normally would just get a ticket for the festival, play their songs, and leave.
right?
That just wasn't enough. We wanted to do a little bit more. And we've got about 4 more weeks yet, so we hope the tip jar increases, and we can give every participant who's at least a finalist something back. The other ones have all mentioned that they've enjoyed just the participation and meeting everybody else. So I hope that you've gotten more fans out of your network, and hopefully a
Yeah.
few more songs bought or something.
Yeah. No, I have, and actually one thing I've liked is to see some new people that you've brought in, and you're curating a nice list of songs, both with the artists you're selecting, and then the radio show that you're doing as well. And it's been nice to be introduced to some new folks.
Yeah, I'm thankful for Old Cooch Mountain put that together last year, and we kind of were one of the first people who jumped on board. And it's a vehicle to get it out nationwide. Now we just need to have more ears listening to it. So
Yeah, that's awesome.
yeah.
So
Well, I appreciate the conversation, John, and I'm glad that you found some time. Your busy schedule. I know we were trying to do this last week, and
yeah.
when you said, "Oh, Dave, I don't think I have time," I'm thinking, I didn't have time either. So it worked out
Well,
perfect.
yeah, I'm real glad this worked out. So thank you so much.
Thank you, and I'm sure we'll meet again, John.
Absolutely.
All right, thank you very much. Now I got to put my glasses on so I click the right one. All right.